Welcome to Global Village Media and another conversation from Global Village Media. The purpose of our conversations is to enhance and improve health literacy, to address health inequalities, and to promote quality health. And today I have a very interesting story that I'd like everybody that we want to share with everybody. Okay. Today's conversation has been tagged More Than a Diagnosis, the fight to be seen and heard. More than a diagnosis, the fight to be seen and heard. And I'm your host today, Charles Olorunfemi. Now, let me start by asking this. What happens when a person repeatedly feels that their voice is not being heard? Particularly when they are already experiencing distress or vulnerability. What can be lost when someone feels that their experiences, concerns, or circumstances are not being understood? These are some of the questions that we want to explore in this two-part conversation with Mervelee Myers. Now, Mervelee brings a long and complex life story into this conversation. She was born in Westmoreland in Jamaica. She later migrated to Britain, built a professional life. She became a mother. She became a grandmother. And she developed her voice through writing, storytelling, advocacy, and her Christian faith. Her story also brings us into some difficult territory, because Mervelee has some strong concerns about her experiences with some of the health organizations, health services, health professionals, and mental health services. And she wants those experiences to be heard. Now, our job here at Global Village Media is not to determine the truth or otherwise of her claims, but we are here to listen to Mervelee's lived account and to explore the wider health and social issues that her experiences raises. And for us, that is important because a person's health cannot always be separated from the circumstances surrounding their life. Trauma, poverty, disability, bereavement, housing, employment, family responsibilities, culture, faith, and access to appropriate healthcare can all influence how a person experiences their health and well-being. And when somebody is already vulnerable, being heard can matter. Now, being heard does not necessarily mean that everybody agrees with you, but it means having the opportunity to explain your experience, to have your concerns taken seriously, to understand what is happening to you, and to have your voice considered when decisions about your health and well-being are being made. This is particularly important to us here at Global Village Media because our job is to improve health literacy, address health inequalities, and promote quality health, especially around issues that disproportionately affect Black folks. So this conversation is not simply about what happened to Mervelee, it's also about what can we learn from her experience. What does it mean to truly listen to someone? What happens when we don't? And what might better, more culturally informed and person-centered care look like? Mervelee, thank you so much for joining us and for trusting us with your story. Welcome to the Health, Wellness and Wellbeing Hour.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
It's my pleasure.
Good stuff. Nice to meet you. And so let me start off by saying that, or by asking actually, share with the viewers, share with the listeners, what you would most like people to understand about the woman behind the story.
Right. What I would like people to understand about this woman behind the story is that I was raised in a male-dominated household.
Mm-hmm.
I am the only surviving girl of 9 children for my parents. And I want it to be known that all of us were for the same mother and father.
Mm.
In my culture, as my mother said, she never had any of the patchwork children. So I grew up in that environment of having a loving family. As I said, my ideal was my father
Mm.
because he was the storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
He was the upholder of how I was raised because
Okay.
my mother was uneducated,
Yeah.
but my father was the one was a preacher, a teacher, a
Mm-hmm.
storyteller,
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in addition, I have done so much. My life is an open book.
Yeah.
I have done so much from the time I was in Jamaica to the time I've been here now. I've spent more time here than I've spent in Jamaica.
Okay.
And I made my implicit knowledge become explicit.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the woman behind everything
Mm.
considers herself an expert authority on subjects from the cradle to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my upbringing, I became a carer from the
Mm.
time my youngest sibling was born. I was 7 years old.
Well.
And my
Okay.
father handed my brother to me.
Mm.
I'll
Mm.
wind up by reading something because I have to have my little notes to prompt me.
Okay.
So I said, to cut a long story short, let me say that I have been living in the UK since 7th of June 1992 and is more than willing to put my name, Mervelee Myers, or Ratty Nemhard, that's my pet name,
Mm.
into Google to
Mm.
help spread the word of who is Mervelee Myers.
Mm.
I have been on every online platform since I joined Facebook the summer of 2009. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, in a nutshell,
Yeah.
summarizes who Mervelee Myers
Who
is.
you
And
are.
there's enough information out there
Okay.
to add to the story.
Okay. Anyway, what also we'll fill in the gaps anyway as we go along. Okay.
Yes,
As to who is Mervelee. We will fill in the gaps. Let's stay with your childhood for a minute. Okay. So
yes.
when you do look back at your childhood in Jamaica, what experiences do you think shaped you? What experience do you think shaped your identity, values, and your determination to survive?
What shaped my identity, my experiences, as I said,
Mm.
it takes a village
Mm-hmm.
to raise a child.
Yeah.
And a child like Mervelee Myers was very and is very stubborn.
Mm.
And it takes my parents and the community that raised this child
Yeah. Yeah.
to develop the resilience that has propelled me to become this person who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Age 67, I have never accepted giving up as an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember the first time I realized that I have to be responsible for myself
Mm.
in self-care when we moved from rented property to our own land in the place where I grew up, age 5. And in my excitement, I fell down and bumped my forehead on the stone protruding from the ground and realized that there is nobody coming to pick me up. So I had to pick myself up.
That's right.
So those are some of the things that has really, propelled me to be where I am. And I can say I have been given the authority from my own personal experiences growing up in a family where there was only boys. And, in the West Indies and Africa and whatever, a girl is looked at differently. And the fact that I never had a sister and my mother was an older mother has a lot to do with the way I had to start from scratch and learn the ropes.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what brought you joy during those early years?
Repeat the question?
Yeah, what brought you joy? What gave you the most joy during those early years?
You know what? Being around my family.
Yeah.
Growing up in a place where you have, as I said, I moved from rented property to our own land in 1963, the year my brother was born. So it was coming around the season of Christmas time.
Yeah.
And have that wide space where I started learning to grow things and nature takes its course. Yeah, and it's very important. The people around that who are responsible for imparting the knowledge, the values and the beliefs of who we later turn out to be.
Okay. All right. So now, growing up, so your experiences are well documented. So you've experienced poverty, disability within the family, family bereavement, violence, caring responsibilities, and teenage motherhood. So please, again, share with us, how did carrying so much from an early age, how did that affect you emotionally? How did that affect you mentally? How did that affect you physically?
Well, I must say, because my father was a storyteller, and most of my experiences are lived experiences. So from an early age, I was taught resilience, how to develop resilience. Yeah. And there were always people who you could go and talk to. It was only later on when I came here and I studied and I realized that what it was, although I didn't know it at the time, was early intervention. Because I grew up in the same yard as my granny.
Okay.
My mother never left her mother behind. She always had her own little house on the family land. So there was grandma there was mother there, the entire family, and as I said, the community. And back then, everybody looked out for the child. It's not as segregated as I know it now. Everybody is looking out for the children in the community. They will rally around, as you say, if there is poverty, if there's disability, they're always there. Yeah. And that's where I take my team from. Because it was not easy. As I said, my mother wasn't much of a talker. And she was an older mother. And then when you go to her with certain things and you ask certain questions, she didn't know how to answer it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she would say, like, if you don't know, you'll soon find out. And and when you find out now, that's another story.
Mm, mm,
But my father, because my father grew up in an extended family, and my father was the second of 16 children
wow.
for his mother and father,
Mm,
and there was another five. So I understand he was responsible, like, for naming his siblings, and he was, had to take on that responsibility
yeah.
of actually raising his siblings. So
Mm,
that eventually was passed down to me
mm-hmm,
as an only girl,
mm,
and
mm,
more so with caring for my help with the caring for my two younger brothers,
mm-hmm,
and then nieces and nephews. But what I want the world to understand, that by the time I reached puberty,
yeah.
it was like everything was hitting me.
Mm, mm.
And things were happening that I didn't understand.
Of course.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
there was no explanation, for example, when my father took sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you there. Did anybody else recognize what you were carrying, that you might be carrying maybe too much responsibility? Anybody around you recognize that at the time?
I, apart from my teacher, primary school teacher, who noticed when I stopped practicing for the Christmas concert, when you go and you gallivant at the
Yeah.
Baptist church, prestigious church.
Mm-hmm,
I think
mm-hmm.
maybe she might have been the only one who actually realized, because when I stopped practicing, she was the one who called out to find out why did I stop coming to practice, and I told her that I did not have shoes, and she advised me to take off the crepe sole that I had with my toes peeping out, wash it, put it up, and come to school barefoot. So,
Yeah.
on reflections after studies and, looking at my life, I think maybe she understand, and that's why she reached out to me and taught me to develop resilience. I think maybe my godmother as well might have identified something,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I used to go and she used to fix my little package. And then the other person I think who might have understood was the lady who came from England, and she had actually told my mother she could send me to her house to get lunch. But my brothers, the older ones, might have understand, but they didn't know how to, except to protect me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
knowledge is power.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for your brothers, they might be used to seeing things like that, whereby maybe a female child just has a lot more caring responsibilities on the siblings
Yes.
rather than the male child, isn't it? You
That
know.
was the norm. That was the
Yeah,
norm in the West
exactly.
Indies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. In other places also. Yeah, good. And I'm assuming also that maybe you were maybe trained, or do you think that you had to keep your emotions inside of you rather than expressing your emotions during those years?
You know what? I think I will pattern myself on my mother.
Mm,
I've never seen my mother cry.
mm,
Later
mm.
on, I cried. So I think you learn to, and as I said, it was pointless trying to have a conversation with mom about certain things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then I can say by the time because I reached puberty at 13, a lot of things happened at 13. My
Mhm.
father was started getting sick at
Mm,
that
mm,
time. I started secondary school
mm, mm.
at 13.
Yeah.
I think another thing that really the transition from primary school to secondary school is another factor in
Mm-hmm.
understanding, because you know the levels of the subjects you were taking
Yeah.
you know were higher, and then you have the teachers who were delivering like separate subjects that would
Mm-hmm.
help explain
Mm-hmm.
some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So now moving forward moving along a bit, I want to talk about let's talk about trauma. Now,
Hmm.
sometimes trauma is recognized only when there's one dramatic event. But
Hmm.
your story suggests that there was a lot. It wasn't one particular dramatic event, but maybe a lot of various events.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
so and again, the thing about trauma is that it can build quietly across a lifetime. So the question is, when did you begin to recognize maybe the cumulative effect of your experiences on your well-being?
Okay. I began to recognize everything
Mm,
from the time my father was strict. At the time, I didn't know about Parkinson's. They say he was sick with his nerves.
mm,
But then again, you have the village lawyers who, would make prediction to say because he was working too hard, he wasn't taking care of himself and all of those things.
mhm,
And
mhm, mhm, mhm,
I realized the impact it had on me because for some strange reason, I don't know. Some of these things are, I don't know what's the proper word to use,
mm,
but I realized that I started getting some similar signs and symptoms like my father.
mm.
Like I would get the shakes,
Okay.
and there were times when I could not speak, like my voice disappeared and whatever. Later on, I realized that it is the fact that I actually have the Parkinson's traits because it was my father and his younger brother. So
Okay.
my grandmother had only had two sons
Mm,
affected by Parkinson's.
okay.
And I think after doing some research on myself, what they said I actually have is something Parkinsonism
Mm,
that is very hard to diagnose and hard to treat.
mm,
So I
mm.
actually self-diagnose myself and know the situations that I should keep out of.
Okay. Good.
So
Okay.
the
Mm,
stressful period can have an impact on me
mhm, mhm.
and all of those things. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So how are you managing? How are you currently managing that?
As I said, I try to keep out of situations that will trigger.
Mm, 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 mm.
I've been getting the shakes because sometimes I am not able to even write my name legibly.
Oh, okay.
It's that bad.
Mm,
It can get that
okay.
bad.
Okay. Okay.
And I've been trying for several months now
Mm,
to get an appointment with the GP.
mm, mm, mm,
And for my shakes and other conditions because I'm diabetic, just been told today that I have cataract. So some of those things. And there are other factors as well that I'm not having proper nutrients that can affect the way I do whatever. And
mm.
I have what is it do I have now? That other one that caused the joints to swell
Okay. Yeah.
and pain.
I'm paying that. Okay, it's paying
Mm.
the joints. Okay, so a number of physical things that affected you. How about mentally or emotionally? The cumulative effect of your past, the negative experience, particularly. impact on your emotional or mental well-being?
Well, what I would say, I managed to, because when you look back at my situation, I'm going back to childhood,
Yeah.
and I remember losing an auntie.
Mm.
Um, she was fasting and she died. Then when I got pregnant with my first son,
Mm.
the year 1976, one of my uncle was chopped up in his own yard on a Sunday morning.
Wow.
Actually heard the news over the radio.
Wow.
There were other things that had happened. I lived with my cousin who had Down syndrome. So she actually didn't speak. And I remember when my grandmother had the first stroke and that affected her speech.
Yeah.
So those things, I'm looking at it from the point of view of then and now, me
Yeah.
having diabetes.
Yeah.
Because the other night, I had to call out the ambulance because I couldn't feel my toes.
Mm.
And I thought maybe I was having a stroke and whatever. And I'm still waiting for them to say they're going to make an appointment.
Yeah.
Another factor that will culminate is the fact that another uncle, so the first one was my father's brother was chopped up in his yard. You accept the death of my auntie as not being very traumatic. It's just one of those things. And that didn't affect me as much as the chopping up of my uncle. But
Yeah.
then
That
the
does.
one that
Yeah.
really affected me was
Mm.
I knew my uncle in person 2 years before he died. And my brother was present. And as a result of the death of my uncle, he was killed for his job.
Mm.
My grandmother died of a broken heart. There were other complications, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, but she died of a broken heart.
Mm. But
And go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead
I
first. Go ahead.
had to care for my granny and my father. My granny wasn't sick for very long,
Yeah. Yeah.
apart from, the diabetes diagnosis and stuff.
Mm.
But my father was sick for a very long time.
And you were the main carer at the time, was it?
I was the main carer because mom had to go out to work.
Okay. Okay.
And then I was the one who stayed at home and
Yeah.
being a young mother, teenage mother,
Mm. Yeah. So that's it's
caring for
yeah.
caring for my yeah.
Mm. So the cumulative effect of all of those experiences would not be very pleasant on you, on your overall well-being. Those, but that's a lot of experience for a young person to kind of take
Yeah.
on board at that age. Okay, but anyway, but you survived, didn't you? And then
I did.
you migrated, moved over to the UK. Tell us about that. How was that experience on you?
So I came for a visit
Mm-hmm.
and then I went back home with the intention knowing that I would be coming back.
Okay.
And I came back and the situation was not nice.
When you came back.
I, I ended up with a control freak.
Mm.
We were born the same May. I'm 19th of May, he's the 28th of May.
Mm-hmm.
I remember once a friend of his stayed with us for a short period of time. And when he witnessed what my ex-husband was doing to me,
Mm.
he said to me, called me Ratty. He said, Ratty, if you had seen me, if I didn't come here and see for myself what is happening
Mm.
to you, what your husband is doing to you, and you seen me out the road and said to me, Jakey, this is what's happening to me,
Yeah.
I would not believe.
Believe it. Wow.
And that's my story,
Mm.
not being believed.
Yeah.
Because earlier on in my early teens, somebody tried, boy tried to, you know, have a go, and I went and told his mother, and of course, there's a claim I was making it up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was the one
Yeah.
who promised, you
Yeah.
know. So not being believed has had an effect on
On you.
me
I,
emotionally and
I,
everything.
I hear you. I hear you.
Mm.
Mm. So moving over. So you ended up with the control freak as you described him.
Hmm.
And during that initial, your initial settlement, any other pressures that settlement, that relocation, any other pressures that you feel, that you felt that maybe you experienced?
Oh,
Mm.
the fact that I came here and you know, you meet up people, and some of these people that you meet up were linked to my ex-husband as well,
Okay.
and they were not very nice. So
Mm,
those sort of relationship can
mm,
have an impact on you.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
But
mm.
I think because when I left Jamaica, I was actually getting treatment for what they said is my nerves, because as I said, I didn't know about Parkinson's. I used to get the tremors.
Oh, were you already experiencing those symptoms from very young?
Throughout my life.
Oh, wow.
It's something.
That is not, that's not usual though, is it? To start experiencing those symptoms from such a young age.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm,
And that's when I done my research, you know,
yeah, yeah.
they said what I have is atypical Parkinsonism.
Wow,
It's
wow, wow.
hard to diagnose
Yeah,
and even
yeah,
harder
yeah,
to treat. So that's
yeah.
why, for me, I have to know myself.
True, true.
So I stayed out of situations
Mm.
that's going to trigger me.
Yeah.
And when the second incident with after the death of my mother, I was sent on medical suspension, so you understand. And I'd
Mm.
actually gone to see a doctor.
Mm.
I'd written up my notes because I have to have my notes, like I've written up my notes, but I
Hello?
find out why you react the way you do to
Mm.
certain
Mm.
situations.
Mm. Mm.
And I got
Mm.
counseling at the Mosley. And they are pretending as if they are not aware of that, you know?
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
So to be heard, to be seen. Because just imagine you grew up your life from the age of, from you were born,
Yeah.
jumping around, you're a tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
You jump on the bicycle from the top of the hill to the end of the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were
Yeah.
like just one of the boys.
Mm.
And then you reach puberty, and now you must start acting like a lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I have.
nobody explained anything to you. So there, some of
Mm.
those things, you know. And as I'm saying to, I don't know, they said old wives' tales can be very, and sometimes I look back and I said, you know, when we were growing up, we were very daring.
Mm.
And sometimes people say some things to you, and I don't know if I internalize it, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes.
Mm.
So those
Mm-hmm.
are some of the things.
Some of the experiment. Okay.
And that's why when I realized my DNA, the type of DNA that I
Yeah.
had,
Yeah.
I actually decided not to have more children unless I was settled. And
Right.
by the time I came to the UK, I was still in childbearing age, but because of the situation with my ex,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I decided he had children and I took them on. We had a good relationship. I decided, you know, it wouldn't be right in my estimation to bring children in the world who is
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
not be in a loving relationship. So I made
Mm.
that decision.
I hear you that one. Okay, so moving along a bit now. Now So obviously you're familiar with the phrase that, Black women are frequently praised, for being resilient, for being strong. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about that particular stereotype or label, whatever you might call it. And that expectation to be strong, that expectation of strength, has it ever made it harder for people to recognize when you needed care or when you needed understanding or when you needed practical support?
I'll say definitely.
Mm,
Because growing up, yeah, I will refer to the female in my family.
yeah.
Both grannies on both sides and my mother, but my mother in particular. As
Mm,
I said, I've never seen my mother cry. But then when I learned her story, she did cry, but she didn't cry, let us see.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And even I've said it out loud as I said, my life is an open book. When I heard my mom's story, and I said to myself, oh my God, how could one woman bear such trauma and never give up?
Mm,
You know?
hmm.
Because women are because I resented some of the disciplines that my mother instilled in me.
Yeah, yeah.
And later on in life, now, especially since what's been happening to me, I looked at it. If my mother wasn't such a resilient person,
Mm,
I would never become this person who I am.
hmm,
My
hmm.
mother, she lost her only daughter, her first daughter, to an epileptic fit.
Mm,
Her father was dying of cancer, stomach cancer. She had a child who was not thriving. So she had
mm,
a child born 1952.
hmm.
He wasn't thriving. The godmother had to take the child to her home to care
Yeah,
for it
yeah.
because she was struggling with her child's illness,
Okay.
epilepsy, and her father's cancer. And then she had another child born 1953. So she had a child born 1952 and a child born 1953. And she
Mm,
lost her father 1953.
wow,
And she
wow.
lost her daughter before that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
about whatever. And
yeah,
I think it was later on I started noticing certain similarities, certain things about my mother.
mm,
So she would always be hiding her thumb. She told me the story of how she lost her thumb, part of her thumb, barking
yeah.
a coconut.
Mm, mm,
But
mm,
that was all I heard.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that was also a trauma
Mm,
because
yeah,
throughout her life into old age, she hid it. And I think my mom grew up, with regrets, not being able to take up opportunities that were offered to her
yeah,
because she had to be at home to care for her father and do whatever it was.
yeah. Yeah, let
And
me
and
just.
that's why I was so conscious of the opportunities that I got when I came to this country and I
Mhm.
made use of them. So
Right.
we Black women are expected
Mm,
to be strong.
yeah,
And sometimes we don't have the people to talk to. And then they wait until things get out of hand,
yeah, yeah,
where there is no early intervention strategies. Yeah. Like how all they waited until after my husband died and I done everything. And all of
mm,
a sudden now they come up with this diagnosis. But
yeah, yeah,
I'm using it in a positive light.
yeah, yeah. In in those regards, how do you think genuine support for a strong Black woman, how do you think genuine support should look like? Or what do you think it should look like?
Genuine support
Mm,
is what I have had since I came to this country.
mm,
Okay. So I have studied. I have been given the incentives in terms of the financial backing and so forth.
mm-hmm.
I worked with the professionals throughout my time. So there were times when I was working and when the triggers came and I needed time off work to
Okay,
repair and whatever. I got those.
okay, okay.
When I was advised to see counseling,
Mm,
I went and I got the counseling.
mm-hmm.
I participated in research and I'm out there in the public doing it.
Yeah,
I participated in more than one research, but one in particular, mental health with King's College London.
okay,
But
okay.
now what they are trying to do is push the evidence that they provided me with the support and now trying to make up that this trauma or whatever it is just developed overnight. Yeah. So it's like my granny would say, it's like the cow that give a pail of milk and then
Mm,
turn around and kick it over.
mm, mm,
And they
mm.
cannot hide the fact that they have given me this support.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now turning around and doing this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And we must be heard.
yeah,
We
yeah.
must be listened to.
So is that another situation that you're currently dealing with, or that particular matter with King's College? You is that you're still dealing with that particular matter, or has that
No,
ended?
no, no. I made my story open book and whatever because
Oh,
right when they came, I was defending myself because as anybody who knows me,
mm,
I've lost everything.
mm,
When I was defending myself because I put it out there, I will go to the MP, I will go to this, I'll go to that.
yeah, yeah.
And when I was defending myself and they came and they took me out of the house, I don't know
Mm,
if they didn't lock the door, the police didn't lock the door or whatever, but I was in the hospital for a month before I was escorted back home. And when I got home, I realized that my place was burgled.
wow,
Everything I accumulated over 33 years in this country.
gone.
My laptop, 4 laptops, because I got them, cleaned up, saying I was going to take them home to Jamaica to give to the schools and whatever, and some of
Yeah,
them. And
yeah,
my whole recording system, my paperwork, my stories that I've written, poems on USB, and everything was taken and destroyed. TV, everything. But not
wow.
only that, my entire savings that I had was issued out to
Mm,
whichever party. And they're saying
wow.
they're not giving me. So I'm having all to deal with those things.
Yeah,
And I can't
yeah.
get any support.
That's a lot to deal with. So
Yeah.
in relation to that particular matter, at least
Hmm.
do you have it in someone's hands that is looking out for you in relation to that? Because at least follow up, getting your money back, or
I have
have
an
you
appointment to
identified
go.
support in that angle?
I have an appointment to go back to see a solicitor on the 2nd of September. Hopefully
Okay,
he's
okay.
gonna because he has
Oh,
already identified from letters I've showed him that there is
yeah,
no way I could have. So hopefully,
yeah,
let's see.
yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Well, hopefully that. Well, okay. So now you've often spoken, and you mentioned already also earlier on about a teacher of yours who taught you never to accept giving up as an option. So
Hmm.
so please tell us about this teacher, and
Okay.
and and how has that lesson carried you through the most difficult periods of your life?
Okay. So this teacher was a lady from a local community, and she teaches at the primary school where my mother's cousin was the head teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've already briefly explained, because I write so briefly explained how I come to be without shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was practicing for the Christmas concert, and she noticed I'd stopped practicing. So that's why people should be out there seeing what's happening to the children and the vulnerable. And she advised me that I should wash the crepe and put it up to come to the concert and come to school barefoot. So I went to school barefoot, do that, she said, and I was at the concert practicing. So anybody who knows me knows I'm a performer. So this teacher's name was Miss Una Perry.
Mm.
And that was something I think that laid the foundation for me to know that giving up was not an option.
Mm. Mm.
I have had other teachers who have been influential in my life, but that was the start of me
Yeah.
learning from an early age that giving up is not an
It's
option.
not an option.
And
Yeah.
strangely enough, she lives in, I haven't heard from her the longest while because of what's happening, but
Yeah.
she actually moved to the UK as well. So
Okay.
she lives in
Okay.
Rotley, and we meet up at the airport, and I was reminding her, and she didn't remember telling me,
Oh.
and that's inspirational for me.
Oh,
So these are
wonderful.
the things, because
Yeah.
before they took down my 18-page Facebook account, I used to write about, the people from my community and
Mm. Mm. Mm.
coming here and learning that the principal, my mother's cousin, husband actually fought
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
war. And
Yeah.
we were not taught those things
Mm.
at
Mm.
school,
Mm.
although we
Mm.
celebrate Puppy Day and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. All right, good. So let's talk about your writing and your faith. Okay, you're well known for your writing.
Yeah.
When did writing first become a way of helping you to process your experiences?
I will go back again and said my father's upbringing, the
Mm,
way
mhm,
he was raised and the way he
mm,
raised his children.
yeah.
So the first book my father bought me was a Bible. But I used to get carried away. He had a big Bible, and my father's Bible had pictures.
Hmm.
So even if you couldn't read,
You
you
could
could
see the pictures.
visualize from
Yeah,
looking at the pictures.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess that's where my sense started.
Okay.
And being a performer, because as I said, the Christmas play and choral speaking and the whole work. So at some phase, I was very good at composition writing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And the Sunday school. The Sunday school also plays a very important role because you have to know the golden text is taken from whatever and
hmm, hmm,
gradually develop writing. But the focus for my writing actually started to really become cemented when my father
yeah, yeah.
was taken ill, and I
Mm,
spent because by then I became much of a loner. And
mm,
I think that's when my love of writing really started cemented itself, and
okay.
I write bits and pieces, and my compositions were the best. And
Uh,
yeah,
so those days, yeah. So you did write about what did you write about in the early days of your father's illness? What were some of the topics
I,
you
I,
wrote
I
about?
I guess it was just whatever was happening to me at the time. I wish
Okay.
I could have preserved those now. They would
Mm,
have
hmm,
made interesting reading. So it was
mm,
just basically my life because, as I said, I was a performer. And you know, you have these groups where the local community, and my brother also was a performer, and he was a lot of people think he went to high school, but he never went further than
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
So, and we were the closest in age, so we used to do a lot
Mm,
of things together.
okay.
And I nearly forget this.
Mm,
My brother went into politics, and I became his writer. So he would
okay.
have an idea, yeah.
Mm,
He would have an idea and he would come and then he said, see, so, and then I'll put it together. And I remember one of the things, that's what I said, it would have been good if I could have preserved some of those. But
yeah,
I
that would
remember
be
actually
nice. Yeah.
writing to Bernie Grant.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm,
MP from Tottenham back then.
yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
my brother, because he
Mm,
came in the paper when he was soliciting funding for
okay.
cricketing aid, for he used
Okay.
to work with the Social Development Commission.
Okay.
So my brother was in politics or in religion. I was actually a foot soldier as a politician too,
Mm,
and my Christian upbringing. So yes,
yeah. Okay.
and I grew up in a community where we lived. There was actually a hub where there was a big field where they play football, all sorts of sports, and our home
Mm,
was
okay.
the community hub where they get their things. So yes, that helps a lot.
Okay. All right. So again, in relation to your writing, tell us about In Honor of Strong Women Everywhere.
I remember going to I came here and I was a basic school teacher from home.
Mm-hmm.
Done other work, but that was my main job, a basic school teacher. And I came here and you have to start from the ground up.
Okay.
And I was working as a cleaning contractor all over the place because
Mm,
I was this good at whatever I do to the best of my ability. So
okay.
I would always get the benefit from that. I
Mm,
remember I was working at the BBC in White City,
okay.
doing cleaning when I went to clean the children's bathroom. And I stood and I watched what was happening. And I
Mm,
said, but wait, this is exactly what I used to do in Jamaica.
mm, mm,
So when contract change, because I need stability, I need, So I applied to Lambeth College to go do a course.
mm.
I was asked to write a composition, and I wrote a composition about Jamaica. And they advised me from just me writing the composition that
Yeah.
the modules that I had selected, I should upgrade it.
Mm,
So I went to Lambeth College, being one of the older students. I must
mm,
have been the second oldest student in
mm-hmm.
the class.
Mm.
And by the time I was finished, I graduated with a certificate, student of the year.
Oh, well
But
done.
I could relate when the tutors teach. I could actually break it down for my
Yeah.
colleagues, my
Yeah.
peers. And I remember all my tutors said to me, because my experience, my assignment was about my lived experience
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember my tutors actually saying to me, Mervelee, you should use your assignments for your first book.
Mm, mm,
I've
mm.
written, as I said, I've written hundreds of books. They have all destroyed everything. But
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Honor of Strong Women Everywhere
Everywhere.
was written in honor of my mother and every
Oh.
woman
Mm,
who has touched my life.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
I am hoping that whatever is written in here is going to change the outcome
Mm-hmm.
for women, the
Yeah.
way I was raised.
Yeah. Yeah.
The responsibility of being an only girl
Mm,
was
mm.
just too much.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And please share with the listeners and the viewers where they can get a copy of this from, in case anybody wants a copy.
On Amazon.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in honor of strong women everywhere, and that can
Yes.
be got on Amazon. And what would you hope that readers take away from this book?
I hope the readers will take away from this book that, as my primary school teacher who taught me resilience said, don't accept giving up as an option.
Mm.
Because I've been going now since the death of my mother. When I wrote to my former senior HR, I am depressed and dying slowly of torture. And if I wasn't careful, that would become a reality.
Yeah.
I am in HCT Group Impact Report 2016 statistics, so I can be found out there. Put my name into Google and I'll come up.
Google.
And
Okay.
at one stage, I had all this, and I created my own website, and it was stolen.
Wow.
If I put my URL in, it comes up, but somebody has taken it.
Somehow, yeah.
And I just use these as learning curves.
Right. Okay. All right. So moving along, still got kind of a bit that I'd like us to cover, and I'm aware of the time. So
Okay.
you've described losing a lot of things. You just touched on that again. Documents, your writings, your belongings, your finances. Yeah. So what did these materials mean to you? Not only what did they mean to you, but what did they mean to your identity? How your memory, your faith, your storytelling.
It's like losing a limb or something, because I am a person that something comes to mind. I have to write it down.
Yeah.
Or else it's gone. And even my poems, I did once submit a book of poems and they didn't accept it. I don't remember. Even wrote a poem in honor of strong women everywhere, and I don't remember. Somebody actually did do it, whatever. So all that's gone. They destroyed everything. Yeah. If I am in a conversation like I'm in a conversation with you now, and there are prompts, it's still in my head. But I actually wrote a book for my husband.
Yeah.
A book, each for my sons. Everything is gone and never to be returned. But as I said, you have life, you have hope, and I can always rewrite some of these things.
Yeah.
And with the platforms that we have, it's easy because you can use AI. Exactly. And there are things that I've already written that is coming back. Sometimes I see things come back and I say, oh, wow. But I guess I will need some equipment.
Yeah, of course.
Because all I am relying on at the moment is my phone.
Your phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, is that a situation whereby somebody is at least trying to help you solve, the equipment you need? And
people make promises, but they're not fulfilling. You know how long I've been reaching? I've been reaching out, asking, can you get me on your platform to help me tell my story? And you're the first one. And now I have another one lined up for Saturday.
Very good, very good.
So yeah.
At least things are happening. Yeah. There you go. Things are happening. And again, back to your phrase, isn't it? Never accept giving up as an option.
Option.
It works for all of us,
Yes.
And what piece of writing or part of your documented history do you wish most that you could recover?
Looking back, I think the book I wrote for my husband. Yeah. Because I can remember little things, and from like the books for my son, and I can always. But the one for my husband, that's one of the biggest things. But just to let you know that he was interviewed in February 2023, a
Mm.
month before, a few weeks before his 100th birthday.
Wow, wow.
And he's featured in Steve Reeves' book about the Windrush generation.
Wonderful. Whoa,
So Steve
awesome.
said he's sending my copy, and I
Yeah,
actually have the
yeah.
interview right out here. So yes,
Oh, that's awesome. So he lived to celebrate the 100th birthday? Your husband?
101 and 1 month.
101 month. Oh, wonderful. Awesome.
Ah, he was like a celebrity in Guys and St. Thomas's. Everybody wanted to know how he did it.
Yes,
And he
everybody.
was up and about reading, as Steve said, in his thing without glasses and
Yeah,
anything,
yeah,
up until just about 3 months before he just went downhill.
yeah. Share a secret, one of his secrets with us, if you could, on how to live that long.
I guess
Mm.
it's part of your DNA and your genetics, but it also goes back to what you do
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah,
yourself from a young age.
yeah, yeah,
Don't think you're going to be living a sort of life where you're not taking care of self, you're not
yeah,
putting the proper nutrients in, and
yeah,
then when you
yeah,
hit 50
yeah.
now, you think then it's going
Mm.
to
I
whatever.
hear,
You
I
have
hear
to
you.
start.
Absolutely.
You have to lay the foundation.
Yeah.
But it was genetics, and because his sister was 92,
Okay.
his
Okay.
brother was 97, and he was
Wow. Wow. Wow.
101. And he had a brother who died here who was 90, and another one was 80 something.
Wow. So
So, yeah.
yeah.
And I was told his mother lived to be 96. But my
Wow.
grandmother, and I'm thinking, hopefully,
Yeah.
my grandmother lived 10 years after my father, and my
Wow.
grandmother lived to be 96. So I am
96.
in
So
good stead.
yes, you are. Yes, yes. You're in good company. You're in good company. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, alongside your writing, your faith also appears to have been something that is very foundation
Yeah.
throughout laid another foundation throughout your life. So again, how does your Christian faith support you? And has there been times when you wanted maybe more practical support from faith or from community organizations, maybe alongside prayer?
Yeah, as I said, everything goes back to the way I was raised
Mm,
and the fact that throughout my father's illness, that kept him going.
yeah,
He
yeah.
used to keep Sunday school at home, and my parents meet at a wake night singing, so they're singing in my DNA.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm, mm.
At some time throughout the time my father was sick until whatever happened, I actually had to question God because I was always asking. My father was such a Christian person.
Okay,
Why did he have to suffer? But
yeah,
it's not up to me. Yeah, but
yeah,
then my faith has been challenged.
yeah. I hear you.
In terms, as I said, I got the support and it's been withdrawn because I
Mm,
decided to tell my truth, and
mm,
the truth is an offense
to some people. Mm,
to some people.
yeah.
So I'm not getting that support, but it's already out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as a storyteller, as a writer,
yeah,
as
yeah.
a researcher, participant, and whatever. It's already out
It's
there,
already out there.
and
Yeah.
the truth will be told, and it will be revealed.
Mm, mm. Tell
And
me
getting my voice,
yeah.
like you giving me my voice, it will be heard.
Yeah, yeah. So what does your faith tell you the purpose of Mervelee Myers?
Mervelee Myers was born for a purpose.
Mm,
Mervelee Myers is here for a reason. And each time I regress, I remember what my parents taught me
mm,
to be gracious,
mm,
to worship no other God but the God I was raised to
mm-hmm,
believe in.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't interfere in other people's life that way.
Right.
We all are here for a purpose. And
Mm.
I want people to remember that you can rely on Mervelee Myers.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You can depend on Mervelee Myers. And I
Mm.
will back you to the end.
Mm.
Yeah. I've been let down by a few, but as my brother said, forgive, even if I don't forget.
I heard that.
But
Mm.
forgiveness is very crucial
Mm.
to
Mm-hmm.
why Mervelee Myers is who she is. And
Wonderful.
my faith will keep me going. Because there are times when some people don't understand me because I express my thoughts and my feelings.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
But at no time has it entered my head
Mm.
that it's not my choice to make certain decisions, but I will express my thoughts.
You're special. I hear you. I hear.
But we must,
Mm.
especially because right now I have to be supporting this lady who I meet in the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and they are giving her a rough time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plying her with medication and not giving her time, telling her when she's coming out and all of that.
Mm. Mm.
Who is
Mm.
listening to her? And why has she had to be relying on others when they should be having meetings among themselves and
Mm-hmm.
giving out our voices? So that's it.
That's it. All right. Okay. That's again another big issue there. Okay. Now
Mm.
let's look at some of the other conditions that shape a person's health and well-being. Um, so again, there's been housing instability. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's been limited access to food, and
Mm-hmm.
there's been the loss of personal belongings that affect your ability to care for your physical and your mental health needs.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us the impact of this. Again, let me just say that again. How has housing instability, limited access to food, and the loss of your personal belongings, how does all of that affect, or how does it still affect your personal and mental well-being?
Okay. In terms of housing instability, because when I look at the fact that I grew up in a what you would call big yard,
Mm-hmm.
where I'd run from here, run to there, and even when I came here, I married my second husband,
Mm-hmm.
and he had his own property. And although people were like saying to me, "Oh, you are a wife and you have rights or whatever," personally, I didn't believe that I was entitled to any of his property.
Mm.
So I refused from moving in with him, although he had asked me. That's my personal decision. And the fact that I was a member of the Housing Ombudsman resident panel for my
Mm-hmm.
housing association. And I raised complaints. I'm getting emails from them. I raised complaints. I contacted the MP. I contacted councillors. I contacted people of different walks of life to
Mm.
mediate on my behalf, and they did not. And then I was let down by the solicitors who
Mm.
were supposed to be supporting me,
Mm.
you know?
Mm. 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 Mm.
So I am needing more people to get me on their platforms to share my story. So, what has happened to Mervelee Myers in terms of housing
Yeah.
do not happen to another person.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had made my retirement. I'd got everything together where I was going to set up a storytelling podcast
Yeah.
about everything, and everything has been lost.
Wow.
In terms of food, I don't know. I went to do the optician today, and I was told that apart from the fact that I'm growing cataract, the back of my eyes is good and everything. So I think
Okay.
sometimes too lack of some of the amount of food that I was eating was probably pushing up the diabetes. I'm not,
Silver,
I'm
silver
not
lining,
having
yeah.
I'm not having too much problem with the diabetes.
There you
Apart
go,
from the
yeah.
other day, I didn't have any feelings in my
Oh,
foot and whatever.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but it's still not good because, as
Of
I
course,
said,
of course, of
arthritis.
course.
Now
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember I'm
yeah.
having the arthritis in the joints,
That
and
too.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm not as strong as
yeah,
I
yeah,
used to
yeah.
be.
I hear
I
you. I hear
walk
you.
a lot. That is good for me. So
Yeah.
that's in terms of the food. I haven't cooked a meal in over a year from the time 2nd of June to whatever, because there's no
Wow.
facilities
No
and I'm
facilities.
not
Wow.
getting the proper nutrients.
Got
And
you.
that's not good for me aging and with my
Yeah,
condition.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the situation of your housing at the moment? What's your current situation?
Well, they said they have me on section 117 aftercare. That's a legal document. I'm
Mm,
supposed to get specialist housing, and
yeah.
there was supposed to be a plan. I haven't seen that plan. But
Mm,
nobody is responding to me and nobody gets in touch with me. So I'm basically in here like a prisoner.
wow. Yeah. Just waiting
Yeah.
for someone to get back to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm, mm,
Yes.
mm, mm.
In
Again, anybody?
terms, hmm?
I just anybody maybe if the services are not meeting your needs, for whatever reason, is there anybody at least advocating on your behalf?
I am doing everything myself.
You're doing everything yourself. Okay.
I write complaints.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Because people make promises and they do nothing.
I hear you. Mm, mm.
Yeah. So now I think when I get to be on platforms like yours, others will be
Yeah,
listening. Because
yeah,
twice I have been taken down to some meeting they have at Sudak by all some charity thing in that the lady took me there 2 times to explain my situation to them and nothing
yeah,
is happening. So
yeah,
when
yeah.
you have my voice is being heard, because they think because I am alone, I was a lonely voice crying out in the wilderness,
Hmm.
prepare ye the way of the Lord, nobody's listening. But now I think,
Yeah,
because I see you popping up everywhere.
and that's
Yeah, I
good.
see your
Yeah,
program popping
yeah.
up everywhere.
Likewise
So
yourself. Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's what we really, really hope that at least
yes.
somebody who can make a difference to your story can listen, and at least so the right action can be taken. Because
Hmm.
I think it's really important that your health, your wellness, your well-being
Exactly.
becomes a priority, and that you get the care and support that you're entitled to.
Hmm.
I think. Tell us, what does an ordinary day look like when essential resources are not available?
I have to, we go back again. Giving
Y-
up is not an option. Because
Yeah,
there are some days when I look at the situation and nothing is moving and I get so depressed
yeah, yeah,
and I just lay down.
yeah.
And then I pick myself up and I said, no, no, I can't let this happen. This is what they want.
Mm,
I'm not as strong as I used to be, and as I said, I'm having arthritis pain.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
then I get up again and I will write
yeah, yeah.
realms and I read. And
Yeah.
sometimes I have a friend I'll go visit. But
Mm,
then I sit here too and I look at programs like yours because sometimes I get inspired
yeah.
by some of
Mm,
the things that is being out there. And then
yeah.
again you look at, as I said, my husband will be in a book and my name is
Yeah.
mentioned. And how
Yeah.
can I use those, to
Mm,
enrich
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
empower
mm-hmm,
myself?
mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Wonderful.
not easy and I
Yeah.
don't see
No,
anybody. And
I totally
sometimes
understand.
I'm here for days, I don't get a phone call, I don't
Yeah.
see anybody,
Yeah.
I'm just locked in this room. It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
used to that.
that is hard. That is hard. And so you've mentioned arthritis, you've mentioned housing instability. Any other physical health concerns that you still think that you need attention?
Well, as I said, they said they're gonna get me to see the GP face to face.
Yeah, that's you
The
did mention
shakes.
that. Yeah.
I think because I'm not getting the proper nutrients might be key to why, the shakes are hitting me so hard now.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
having the arthritis pain and I can't afford not to be able to look after myself
Yeah,
because I
but
have
Merv,
nobody.
yeah. Another thing that didn't really sit well with me was the fact that you said that you don't have a GP.
They put me on to social allocation services. And I've been trying now for since about 5 months now. I've been trying to make an appointment, and
Mm,
each time they take the information and nobody gets back to me.
mm,
The last
mm,
time was when
mm,
I thought, as I said, I thought I couldn't feel my toes.
mm.
I phoned up and they were telling me I must get down in the early hours of the morning. So I said I couldn't. They phoned back and they said they would be calling me to make a face-to-face appointment. Nobody calls. So they're
Yeah,
taking me for granted because they're expecting that I'm gonna let the situation depress me so much that I won't act.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, wow. Okay. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to kind of bring part one to a close. Okay.
Okay.
And I would say so of everything that you've achieved as a mother, as an early years professional, as a writer, research participant, campaigner, storyteller,
Hmm.
what are you most proud of?
You know what?
Mm,
I would say I am proud of every single achievement in a variety of ways
yeah,
because
yeah.
I've raised two sons
Wonderful. Mm,
who have done great things in life.
okay. Good stuff.
I'm a grandmother of six.
Well done.
Yeah.
Mm, mm,
When I look back at the few records I have of the work I done as an early years practitioner,
yeah,
you know, I
yeah,
was on Sky News, I've been in magazines and I've been there. Though, and one of the biggest thing of being an early years practitioner, I work with a diverse community,
yeah,
especially when I was working at King's College Hospital,
yeah,
workplace
yeah.
sensory.
Mm-hmm.
People from across the continent, the world,
Mm,
you know.
mm, 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 mm. Good stuff. Well,
What
well,
what
okay.
I look at is hundreds of copies of things I'd written has gone down the drain, but I've started rewriting and I'm sure when I get my equipment back together, I'll be finding things that's out
Yes,
there I can easily put
very
together.
easily. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And any contribution that you believe has not received sufficient recognition?
I would say all of them.
All of them too. You believe
From
you
being
still
a
need more?
mother to
Yeah, still need more recognition.
I still need, yeah. Give me
I
my flowers before I'm
give you
gone.
my flowers. I love that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I want
yeah,
more
yeah.
people like Charles. And by the
Oh,
way, that's my grandfather's name.
okay, okay,
Charles
okay,
Lemmer. I want
okay.
more people like Charles to come and
Oh,
have conversation with me
I
and
hear you. I hear
see
you.
how Mervelee Myers
Mm,
stick. That would
mm, mm.
be great.
Yes, yeah, yeah, good.
And I'm sure it's coming.
And it's coming. It definitely is. And what about your children, your grandchildren, your community? What would you like for them to inherit from you, from your story?
Hmm. I would like for them to what my primary school teacher has taught me. Giving up is not an option.
Giving up is not an option. I love that too.
Never.
Giving up is not an option. That's something that I definitely would take that away. I'm definitely also going to take that away. And yeah, and on that note, I really, really want to thank you, Mervelee, for your time today. Your story reminds us that nobody enters a mental health service without a history. Every person brings a lifetime of relationships, losses, responsibilities, culture, fate, achievements, and ways of surviving.
Mhm.
Listening to that story does not require us to reach conclusions, about maybe disputed events, but it does require us to recognize that understanding a person's experience is an essential part of understanding their health. In part two, we're going to explore Mervelee's encounter with mental health services, how she experienced assessment and treatment, and why she believes important aspects of her physical health and circumstances were overlooked, and what she wants professionals and services to learn. So, this has been
Yes.
part one of More Than a Diagnosis, the fight to be seen and heard. Mervelee, before I let you go today, please to leave one final word for the listeners, for the viewers.
One final word,
Mm,
and I'm going to say it in honor of my mother.
mm,
Because when I find out my mother's story,
mhm,
I was in awe. Please spare some time for a child you see struggling out there, a young person who needs somebody to listen to them, and the vulnerable elderly adults
mm,
who maybe need somebody to be their memory board. Because I had that
mhm,
with my husband. And as Steve Reeves' book will testify,
mm,
that
mm,
was one of the last interview he did.
mm.
And he is in a book that will last for generation.
That's right. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. All right then. Thank you
Never
so.
to
Mm.
be remembered anymore. Never to be remembered anymore. I
Mm.
have cast my record of sinfulness upon the sea of forgetfulness, never to be remembered anymore.
And that was Mervelee Myers, folks. Tune in next week for part two of this story. And let's not forget that in a world where we can all be anything that we want to be, let's always remember to be kind to ourselves and to be kind to others. Remain blessed.
Thank you.